Oh, Rob, I can't fathom how frustrated the farmers and people like the Hawke's Bay Regional Investment Company are about this. This whole process has been through the resource consent process. It's been to Environment Court. It's been to High Court, I think, and now it's been to Supreme Court. And the latest decision from the Supreme Court is that the Director General of Department of Conservation actually didn't have the right to do a land swap of 30 hectares of conservation land for 100 and something hectares of Smedley Farm, which butts onto the conservation area. The area that I know the area that they were swapping, not the bush area, not the area in the conservation park, but the area on Smedley. It's high country. It's really difficult to farm. It's regenerating into native forest. It's going to be fenced, so it becomes part of the conservation park. And every step of the way, this decision has not been an issue, hasn't been overturned. Goes to Supreme Court, and a judge decides that he didn't have the authority to do this. Well, if he didn't have the authority to do it, shouldn't we have known that at the resource consenting process? So, yeah, I mean, look, the lawyers have had a field day. Typically, the lawyers and the judges and whoever else is involved in this, they've had a field day. They're all getting unbelievable money for what they're doing, and it's a point of law, and it's been overturned. This is not a technical issue with the dam at all. It is all about the land swap that was done so that the dam could go ahead.
So, is it scuttled?
No, look, I don't think it's scuttled. Everybody that I've been involved with up there is pretty mum about it at the moment. I'm sure they're trying to work their way, find a solution, work their way through this. But I mean, I just don't know where we're at now. And I think the guys that I've been working with on the scheme don't know where they're at either. So it's a bit of a stalemate at the moment. I mean, it's only a week or 10 days since that decision came down, and so it's pretty quiet at the moment, I have to say.
Fine. Let's look at where we are at, that we
Yep.
can talk about.
Yes.
Soil moisture levels.
Yeah, look, there's at this time of the year we've got this little bit of panic, I mean, we're getting some really nice days. Last week we had the typical southerly come through, that spring southerly. It was short and sharp, very cold, and soil temperatures just took a dump again. And soil moistures, we got enough rain out of that came through the Canterbury Plains, varies from about 16 to 35 millimetres. And so all of our soils have been returned back to field capacity. It's relatively cool since then, if you think of what the weather was like, or actually all over New Zealand, Thursday, Friday over New Zealand. Believe me, I was coming back from Hawke's Bay last Thursday, and Wellington was frigid, and you could barely stand up on the tarmac. And that continued on Saturday, so that eastern part of New Zealand eastern part of the North Island copped that all of last week. They got enough rain to top up their soil profiles again. There is absolutely no urgency at the moment to even be considering that green button that sits in the shed or is on somebody's cell phone. We're now forecast for some widespread rain over all of New Zealand on Friday, so we're only 3 days away from that arriving again, and anybody that thinks or contemplates that they're going to need to put irrigation on in the next week, and probably the next 2 weeks, probably should go on holiday and where there's no communications, or find a cave to hold it.
Wear those mitten things so that you can't push the button with your finger.
Absolutely, yeah. Look, just think about, and the people, honestly, most of the people that are panicking about this don't do any measurements. They don't know what the soil temperature is, because then they ask us what the soil temperature is, and they have no measure of soil moisture. And some of them probably don't even measure their rainfall. So, I still don't understand in this modern age why people don't have measurements to actually make some decisions with. But I can assure you that right now there is no urgency to do any irrigation.
What are soil temperatures doing?
Well, soil temperatures, as I alluded to before, you get one of these cold snaps that come through, especially with some rain. It was very cold rain, almost sleety snow in many places. I mean, if you go inland Canterbury, we had snow on the ground. You go into parts of Hawke's Bay, we had snow on the ground again. Even Wellington had, parts of the high parts of the Wairarapa had snow, flurries, and snow on the ground. When we get those sort of wet, cold conditions, then it has an immediate effect on soil temperature. The soils are then wet. It takes a lot more energy to raise the soil temperature when we're sitting at sort of field capacity or thereabouts than it does when we're well below field capacity, because we've got more air in the system. And they have struggled since about Sunday last week, to get back even close to 9 degrees at 9 o'clock in the morning. So right now, soil temperatures are in effect inhibiting any growth we have, even though we've got some magnificent weather over the whole of New Zealand at the moment. We've got to wait till we get on that continuously rising plane of soil temperatures before we're going to really see growth take off.
Tony, thank you very much indeed.